Welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. Here is where the guys discuss, debate, and consider all aspects of living like a true gentleman. Rich and Anton will consider entrepreneurship, success, fashion and styling, family life, and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our latest saunter into the life of a gentleman. Guys, take it away.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. And this week we're going to talk about something that is in the entrepreneurship lane, I would say. And that is a question that we've come across. Should you fake it till you make it? And we talked about this a little bit on a previous podcast, and we said we'd follow up with this episode. So that's what we're going to do today. Should we fake it till you make it? And I'll pass it over to my partner, Anton, to start the discussion.
I guess it depends on to what extent we're faking it, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've all faked it a little bit, until we made it. But I guess are you putting like a completely false narrative out there? Are you, just, like we said in the last episode that we recorded, the last podcast, the long form, that, are you just doing it for the gram or whatever? So it's just like, I think I get it, faking it till you make it. For mindset and mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, get yourself in that mindset of this is where I want to go. This is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. So in that respect, I get it. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, yeah, that makes sense there. But then there's other people, I think what we were talking about in the last podcast where, no, they're really faking it. They don't have it together. They don't really have the work ethic, the aspirations, anything. But they put out a persona online that makes it look like they've got everything together. And we were saying, you meet them in real life and it's kind of a letdown because online persona, the screen name doesn't match up with the real person that you meet and connect with. That can be really dangerous because you can, if you're faking it, you can end up getting exposed,
right.
and kind of get clowned. That's one of the reasons why I never wanted to do that.
Right.
For that reason alone.
Yeah, I think you got to at least be solid in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you're trying to put out there, you got to at least have some representation of what you're working towards, like what you're faking to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there has to be something in place. There has to be some steps already in motion. Like it's one thing to just completely fake a persona, fake a but there's another thing to kind of, I don't know if you want, embellish might be a bad word because you don't want it to look like a lie, but you're laying foundation. You got, bricks and blocks in place and you just kind of, you're not there. You don't have the whole house built, but you're doing that back end work. You're in that field. The door is starting to crack into the rooms you're trying to get into. And you're just, you're just making it look a little bit bigger than what it is at that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but a lot of times when you're doing that, that's like building your brand, brand building, things like that. But on the other hand, I guess there's those two sides to it. Are you brand building, actually really working towards something, or are you just kind of like a total fake fraud?
Yeah.
I mean, because we've all heard the stories, guys and girls posing next to, nice cars that aren't theirs. Or
I just saw that yesterday on Instagram. Just yesterday.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
just
and then even the businesses that people have started with the little rooms that look like a private jet, and people can go in there and take a picture. It makes it look like, it look like they're in a private jet. It's not even. It's just like a cargo.
You're lying, bro.
I'm not lying. Way. You Google that, look it up. There's a lot of people doing that. And
so you're trying to tell me everybody that's getting flued out is not getting flued out?
I don't know anything about the flued out culture, but I do know that there are people with legitimate businesses that are, allowing people to take pictures by their cars or either in a little set that they've set up to look like either a private jet or like a luxury boardroom or something like that. If that's what people want to do, it's weird to me.
So do you think that people who are just completely faking it, do you think there's an end game, or do you think that that's just ego feeding for them, or it's just enough for them to have this? Because, some people really get off on the likes and the adoration from social media. So maybe you think there may not be an end game for some people that are faking it. Today there's making it. It's just faking it.
No, it's just faking it. But the endorphin release, studies have shown, like from the likes that you get,
Dr. Rich, here we come. the serotonin levels through the roof.
It spikes. And at the 500 like level, it begins to spike, and the pulse rate quickens.
Exponentially higher.
But it has become a thing though, where science has stepped in. Even the research behind powerful companies like Facebook, aka Meta, and Instagram, saying that it can be detrimental for those teenage years.
Right.
People really getting high off of these likes, and they'll do anything, and I mean anything, as I just mentioned, to make themselves seem like they're doing more, because a lot of these guys and females too are living that influencer lifestyle. So if you want to get the likes so that you can get these, free gifts and connections from brands, you got to really look like you're doing it big. So I think that plays more of a role into it. Those that are trying to be influencers, per se, because they have to look just like they always have something fabulous going on, almost 7 days a week.
Right. And I think that, you look at people's online personas, and like you said, and and it's just like you're like, wow, like do you like these people are really like they're all over the earth, they're in like cars and exotic places that you've never seen or heard of, and it's
great
just
restaurants,
like
every night.
Like but I then it begs the question, like, is this and I think time and society has proven out that a lot of it's just not real. A lot of it's not real. But I think that getting like back on topic, if you have an end game or end goal to something, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, what do they say? You dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have, or, so I think that your mindset does play a part into it. You're trying to make moves, you're trying to forward your career, or even if you are, an influencer or whatever it is. But if there is an end game, I don't think that faking it is detrimental. If you have a plan or you're working towards something, you've been putting bricks and blocks down, laying foundation for the future, then I think it's worth it, because I think you do have to have a winning mindset, or you do have to have a mindset that's bigger than where you are right this second. I would imagine.
Like they have to have the vision. I'll tell you a story. This is kind of a personal story about when I started Harrison Blake. It was like 2013, right around Thanksgiving time. I launched. That was like my first launch, and I don't know. I'll just share it. At the beginning, there was going to be two other guys that were part of the company, and right out the gate, new Instagram account. We all had access to it. First posts. One of the guys. He throws up a post, and this is when we were just doing lapel pins. He had the lapel pin on. He's standing there in a suit. He's posing against the wall. He's like, trying to do the whole GQ look. And the caption says, "I'm not only a client, I'm also the president of," and we're like, the other two of us were like, all right,
come on,
that's coming down immediately. Like, delete that. Like, we're not, this is not how we're starting off this business. So I say that to say, I felt it was best, going to hiding. Fast forward a couple months later, it was just me moving, starting the business, Harrison Blake Apparel. Yeah. My strategy then became, I don't want to be that guy trying to post up and pose, trying to look cool and try to tell you guys, this is where you get your lapel pins from. So I went into hiding for like 4 or 5 years. Probably 5. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew my background. Never saw my face on Instagram. And that was a strategy for me because I wanted to grow the business. Right. But at the same time, somebody could say, okay, you went opposite of fake it till you make it. Like, you went off grid until you had enough success to kind of pop your head out of the sand. Man, I don't know. We can put maybe this isn't an unstitched, but we could put it to the audience at some point. What's a better strategy? Maybe sometimes you got to lay low, Or
You know, they got a
sometimes
term what they call it, bubble slow. You know, you gotta like
Yeah.
some. You know, everything doesn't have to look gigantic in the beginning to be successful. It's
Yeah.
like the success will come in time, but I think we're in such a society where everything has to look so big, so fast, and you know, you got to be able to toss the money up, and you know,
Yeah.
you're on the private jets, and you know, you're getting flued out here and there. You know, it's just
bottles.
everything. Yeah, everything's just instantaneous. Like, you know, it's an old man term, but it's instant gratification. But it really is. Like, you know,
No,
you
it
gotta. We don't know how to just do the work, and I'm not saying don't have that mindset. Like, don't have a you know, you gotta have the mindset for it. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to look like you're popping out of Lamborghinis every 4 minutes. You know, when you're not, it's just like you go home and you're sad. You know what I'm saying? You got 4,000 likes on your last post popping out of a Lamborghini. Like, yo, you doing the and you big, yo, you doing your thing. But I'm going, you know, I'm hopping in my Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
go home and go home and look around.
No pictures on the wall. Dingy.
Nothing there with the dog, the family.
Yeah.
Nothing glamorous.
Yeah, pork and beans again. You know what I'm saying? Pork and beans again. You know,
Gotta make it stretch, honey. Add some rice. Yeah.
I put extra butter in. Keep it full. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got it. Yeah, it's got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's got to make sense. Like,
it does, but you see so many people living that lifestyle, man. And now we're going down a rabbit hole, but now with the metaverse,
right,
we're gonna see people really living out those personas in a whole new, you know, digital virtual realm, and you
that Ready Player One type life.
Yeah. Because already my kids, you know, they're in there and they like to flex on Roblox, and I'm thinking like they're buying Nikes and Yeezys and you know, brand name
Balenciagas,
stuff. Right, driving Lambos, and amongst that young crowd, they can have some real legitimate clout. Like they're getting they're getting those followers, they're getting their friend likes up, and it's like, you guys do know this isn't real. Like, this is just digital. So I don't know if maybe it is a generational thing. We're just a couple grumpy old men.
I think part of it is we are grumpy old men, and the other thing is, like, we know what's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come from a different era. Like, if you didn't, like, there was no way to flex back in the day. Like, we talked about this in a past podcast with labels. Like, when it came to name brand stuff, like, you couldn't front if your junk was like, if it was off brand, like, you were gonna get shouted out. Yeah. So it's like you couldn't fake things the way you fake things now, because your reach wasn't so broad. Like, if you were dope, you were dope to your little insulated community, whether it be at school, you know, if you were away at college, in your neighborhood, like, you could be that dude around the way, you know what I'm saying? But you couldn't be that dude around the world. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now you can be, now you're global with it. You know, everybody's a brand. Everybody's a walking brand, and which is good. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's great because it gives people a lot of different business opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities. Yes. I do like that. But yeah, I don't like when you fake it till you make it too much. I don't think it's good. I think, but again, I think I show my age when I say that. It just kind of, like you said, the slow bubble, that takes a lot of patience. And patience just really isn't something that a lot of people have these days.
No,
so I get it. Everybody's looking for the warp zone.
Yep, exactly. And it's hard when you're constantly being reminded that you aren't there yet, because you're in the middle of that fake it till you make it, and then you're looking at people who might be faking it till they make it.
Yeah, so nobody knows what's really real.
Yeah, they're just running around in this hamster wheel trying to, you know, one up each other, and nobody's got it. You know what I'm saying? Or out of the 100 people, 5 got it, 10 got it. You know what I'm saying? Right. 10 are really legitimately doing it, and it's just like this hamster wheel of trying to, you know, get it and show it and flex, and it's just, you know, it's silly. Like, it's it's no reason.
There was another podcast we had recently where we talked about small business statistics. Remember that? And you know, and that's really the true measuring stick I like to use is stats. Looking at those stats, you see, you know, there's there's really no possible way that all these people are doing that great.
Yeah.
Unless the only people doing good are the only ones on social media. But we all know that can't be true because every business has to have social media these days.
Right.
So I believe it was I think it was something like 4 out of 5 businesses they're only pulling in about $80,000 a year nationwide.
Right.
And on average, small business owners, they only have 1 or 2 employees. So, I mean, guys have to be real. I think that's one of the big things to take away from this. Focus on what you're doing. Don't get caught up in looking at everybody else trying to keep up with the Joneses. You don't even know if what they have is real.
Right.
You know? Right.
That's the thing. And I think that's what's the most important thing is you just got to do you. You know, do you. If you're faking it a little bit, all right, cool. But be realistic. Like, don't make yourself look stupid later on when somebody sees you in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man, that's the worst. I got a story about that. I can't share it, but
what
kind of message? Yeah. I got a story about that. I can't tell you. No,
I bought you something real nice, but I can't give it to you. Like, what are you doing?
I'll tell you. All right, so there was all right, I'll tell the story.
It's not about me, is it now?
No. This will close out this episode. So I used to do coaching. A couple years ago, I had a whole separate Instagram page, did coaching. And one of my coaching clients went to a city and visited his sister-in-law and his in-laws or whatever. So they go to the mall, they walk into one of the shops in the mall, and who do they see? Somebody that I've had on the podcast that has a bigger than life persona that always made it seem like they were just doing amazing things. They go in, they're walking in the mall, they see this person helping them at a counter at a store in the mall. And they called me up instantly and said, I just met so-and-so. They work at the mall. Like, I thought they were this big, quote unquote, almost celebrity. He's like, I can't believe my man is working at the mall. Like, not shout out to anybody who's working at the mall, but
yeah, right. That's not a.
But what I'm saying is that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the guy's persona online, you would have thought he was a boss, and that was the persona he put out. But when somebody met him in real life, they were shocked that it just didn't match up, and there was a little bit of embarrassment on the other guy's part who got outed. And then my client from then on, he always said, I can't trust anything I see on social media because I never would have thought in a million years this guy would be waiting on me at the mall,
People, this is like a public service announcement. Don't believe anything you see on the internet. Like, you can't, you can't just lock, stock, and barrel believe that these people are doing half of the stuff that they say they're doing. Are we out here selling suits? Oh yeah, we're doing it. No, but everybody except us,
Right.
No, but we aren't out here trying to put on these personas. Like, we aren't jumping out of Porsches and and Learjets, and that's old school, right? Learjets. Learjets.
We might be jumping out of Learjets. So
maybe because the joints don't even fly anymore.
Right.
But you understand what I'm saying? But it's just like, you got to be realistic. People are going to come up with their own conclusions, right?
Yeah.
You can believe whatever you want to believe. So if you put out a decent product in your online persona, people are going to believe what they want to believe anyway. So you have no control over that. What you don't is when they see you in the street, you're just looking like a mope because you've done some just ridiculous job of propping yourself up for 4 years.
You go to a new city. You go to a new city to visit. Your favorite Instagram personality's picking you up in the Uber. Where to?
Like,
is that
is that you, Super? That's what you don't want. Like, you don't want that.
Yeah, is that Dapper Dude 975? Yeah. Make sure to leave him a good 5-star review. Right.
Yeah, you're
right. Got to. You never know what you're dealing with out here these days. But I guess the most important thing, hey guys, stay focused on what you're doing and go after your dreams. We're about to start a new year, and everybody's always excited about that. This really could be the year for you. Just put in the work And I think that's the best way to go about it. But if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a comment. Let us know your perspective on it. We always love your feedback in the comments. And a lot of great, exciting things in 2022. We'll start having guests again on the show. So looking forward to it, Anton. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah, me too.